Hey guys, I hope you are doing well. Today's video is my very first video in my top 5 series. Let's just pretend we didn't see that. Hey guys, so today's video is my top 5 favorite liquid foundations. This is the first video in my top 5 series. I'm literally going to be doing one on every single application category of product in my collection, so I can give you guys like the best of the best in my opinion and based on what I've tried. So when it comes to like makeup, for me, I'm a bit of an all or nothing type of gal. So it's either I literally have everything including the kitchen sink on my face, or I wear absolutely nothing. There's no in between. I don't really do everyday makeup anymore. It's literally I either decide I can't bother and I wear none, or I wear a full face like this. So all the foundations very much reiterate that. So they're all sort of medium to full coverage and not so much for the faint-hearted. They're definitely the type of foundations that are like, if you like coverage girl, then you've come to the right place. So without further ado, I'm going to get straight into showing you guys what my top foundations are. I didn't even have to think twice. So if you guys watch my 2018 Holy Grails, then you already know what my #1 foundation is, and that is the NARS Naturally Radiant Long Wear Foundation. Now this is just a gorgeous foundation. I really can't fault it. So I wear the shade Fiji, and it is more of a medium to full coverage. I find it applies beautifully whether it be with a sponge or a brush, and it's just a really nice foundation because it's very full coverage. It's sort of like a demi matte, so it's not like crazy matte, but it's not dewy, and it just looks very natural on the skin for being like somewhat of a full coverage foundation. I find it lasts super well throughout the day. I can wear it in winter when my skin is feeling really dry and it doesn't enhance any dry patches or anything like that, and I can wear it in summer when I'm a crazy oily little bish. I just like to use Urban Decay All Nighter to set it in summer, and it just helps to keep the oils at bay and stops it from breaking up and everything. But even then, I have actually worn it on several occasions without the all-nighter setting spray, and it's never like broken up around on my skin or anything like that. I do have a full review on this one. I actually think I have reviews on all of them, so I will link them in the description box for you guys, but I really, really love this. It's a very easy foundation to wear. So if you're looking to dabble in full coverage foundations, this is one I would suggest starting off with because it's got a very forgiving finish. I find if you go too matte or too dewy, or if it's very like a very particular type of finish foundation and you're not used to that, it can be a little bit much. So that one I would say is safe for those who are newcomers to the full coverage world. Definitely give it a crack. So this next foundation is one that I actually hated. The first time I tried it, I was like, what the hell is this on my face? Like, I feel like I've got pretty good skin when it comes to trying out foundations because I don't have any texture issues. I have enlarged pores and I have a few very small fine lines and I have like some blotchy pigmentation. But like when it comes to texture, my skin is as smooth as a baby's bum. So I can pretty much wear sort of any finish foundation I want without there being a problem. And the first time I ever tried the Fenty Pro Filter foundation, it looked so gross on my skin, and guess what actually happened? I actually had an allergic reaction to something which I didn't realize, and I ended up getting a rash on my face. And so the day that I applied this, the rash was actually developing, so it looked really gross on my skin, and I just didn't connect the dots. Since then, I've had a couple of allergic reactions that I don't know the source of, and my skin breaks out in like this crusty rash and it makes it really dry. So when I used it, when my skin was having that really crusty dry issue, it looked gross. So I'm assuming this is probably not going to be the best foundation for you who have crazy dry skin, or if you have really sensitive skin or anything like that, because it might just not sit as nicely as like the NARS Naturally Radiant. But 3 months later, I was like, look, I'm not gonna let this sit and go bad in my drawer, because I'd heard so many people say how much they loved it, and I was like, righto, I'm gonna give it a go again, I'm gonna give it a go. And I put it on my skin and I was like, oh my gosh, I've been missing out for the last 3 months. So this is literally my second favorite foundation. I'm in the shade 190. It is, the finish of it is a matte finish, but it kind of dries down like like, ooh, testy pop, like a powdery matte finish. So it's like you've set your face, but you haven't. I have tried wearing it and not setting my face with powders, and I personally don't like it when I don't set it. It doesn't last long enough on my skin, but as long as I set it with one of my go-to powders, whether that be like MAC Mineralized Skin Finish or the Too Faced Ethereal Loose Setting Powder, either one of those, it lasts all day. It looks beautiful. Even when I get like crazy oily in really hot weather, it doesn't break up. It looks so good on my skin. I can't get enough of it. Actually, this was my favorite foundation in 2017. Yeah, 2017 it was. I wore it a lot, and I actually think I'm halfway through the bottle, which is a big feat for me because I rotate foundation so much, and then I don't actually wear foundation every day, so it takes a lot to get through that much foundation. But I highly recommend it. I've just ordered the new concealers and the new setting powder, and that should arrive hopefully before next weekend. So I'm hoping next Monday you guys will see the concealer in action with this foundation. Super good product, really love. Maybe not the best for super dry skin types, but if you're like normal to oily, and if you don't mind like a little bit of a mattifying finish, then you're going to like it. It's a very comfortable matte. I would call it a comfort matte because I feel like it moves with your face. There's some matte foundations that literally like so matte that you feel like you've got like a face mask on and you're like trying to function and you can't because your face is so matte. And then next up we have the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. Now I wear the shade light beige, and this is my favorite cool weather foundation. So I personally don't love wearing this in summer because I do develop a fair bit of oil on my T-zone, and I find it just gets a little bit too oily in the warmer weather for me. But for a winter foundation, it is just so beautiful. My skin loves it, and it lasts all day long, and I don't have to use like a setting spray or anything like that in winter because I'm a little bit more dry to normal in winter. So my skin changes with the seasons, which is why I like different foundations for different times a year. But this is beautiful. It is medium to full coverage, very easily buildable. I find that I can wear it with a more natural makeup look and it doesn't look over the top though. Some foundations can be so full coverage that if you don't have like the dramatic eye makeup to go with it, it doesn't look right. This isn't one of those foundations. This one is beautiful. You can wear it as a very natural finish, or you can wear it super full coverage with super glam makeup. All of these apply really nicely with sponge and brushes too. I personally prefer to apply the NARS and the Fenty with a brush, and I really like to apply the Too Faced with a sponge because it just gives my skin like that little bit of extra dewiness, and it just feels really good. And this is another one that I would call like a comfort, like a natural finish. So it's not dewy, but it's not matte, and it just sits right in between. It's so nice. And you know, in winter I feel like my skin can get a little bit sensitive, and this is one foundation that just doesn't aggravate it. It doesn't make my skin feel like it can't breathe. It's a really nice foundation, and it's been a holy grail of mine since I tried it. I think this might have been the first high-end foundation I ever tried, and I tried it here on YouTube when I first started my channel, and yeah, I've loved it ever since. I've always kept it in my fake tan and my non-fake tan shade, and I love it. It's such a good foundation. If you guys have never tried it, we've got to try all of these foundations. I really rate all of these. So next up, we have a new favorite to the collection, and the only problem I have with this is I feel like I still haven't quite got my perfect shade. I'm wearing this foundation today. It is the Cover FX Power Play foundation. Now I have this in the shade G50, which I am wearing right now, and I feel like I'm looking in the mirror and I feel like it's a good match. I'll just have to wait and see when I edit this video back if my face actually matches my neck, because I can't tell on the tiny monitor. But I feel like the shade is still a little bit off. I think I might need a neutral shade. And actually I feel like my forehead contour is a little bit off as well. What am I doing? I did my makeup like super backwards today because I was playing with new eyeshadows, so okay, no, I'm good. I think I'm good. But yes, so it's a Cover FX Power Play foundation. So I just reviewed this and I was shook. I was shook-eth. I couldn't believe how beautiful this foundation looks. I mean, you guys can see my skin now and I think it looks pretty good. But this just applies so nicely. I actually really like how this applies with a beauty blender, like not a beauty blender, a sponge. In particular, Huda's sponge. I did actually try to apply it with my new velvet sponge this morning, and I didn't love it with the velvet sponge. So I reviewed that sponge with the NARS Naturally Radiant foundation, and it applied this like so freaking beautifully. So I feel like that velvet sponge is better for foundations that aren't like more matte. And I think this has a little bit more of a matte finish, but once again, it's like a comfort matte. So although it's matte, it's not like crazy dry down matte, but it lasts really well as well on my skin. I haven't tried it in colder weather yet. I've only ever worn it in the warmer months because it's summer here in Australia, but it just sits so beautifully on my skin. And it has like a really like liquidy, not liquidy, what am I trying to say? It's not super runny, but it's not crazy thick consistency, and it's got a little squeezy tube bottle as well, which I really like for travel because it's plastic. So far all the other foundation bottles have been glass, and whenever I travel with these, I'm not gonna lie, the glass kind of freaks me out because I'm always concerned I'm going to, like, it's gonna smash in my suitcase, or I'm going to drop it on a hotel floor or something and my life will be over. So as much as I love glass foundations, I try not to travel with them. I definitely lean towards more plastic packaged products for travel, so that's why this one is so good, because it's all plastic lid, plastic bottle, and yeah, super travel friendly. It's very compact. It looks so much smaller compared to the other foundations, but I believe they all have pretty much the same amount of product. Well, Too Faced has 30 mils and Cover FX has 35, and yeah, it's just a great foundation. So it's still very new to my collection, but I can already tell that it's a staple. So yeah, I think I just need to try and get like a bit more of a neutral undertone, because I think the gold and yellow undertones, all of the undertones in these foundations are really strong. Some brands, I feel like their yellow undertone foundations are like crazy yellow undertone. Like, I always think to myself, who the hell would be that yellow? But then some brands' yellow undertones are like really quite reasonable. So I found these are all, I think Fiji might be a yellow undertone, but I know 190 is a neutral in the Fenty, and I know Light Beige is a neutral shade as well, but G50 I think is an olive undertone. I just think it's not quite right. So I'll have to just suss out what their neutral undertone foundations are like, because some neutral undertone foundations literally look really pink on my face. So it's a struggle to try and find the right shades, I feel like, in most foundations, but I can usually make it work. Even if it's a little bit off, I don't feel like it looks too terrible. I think sort of in 2019, no one really worries that much if people's foundation shade isn't like the exact match. As long as you're not playing blackface or whiteface, I don't really think people care that much, to be honest. I know I don't anyway, but you know, at the same time, I do want to match as closely as possible. So last but certainly not least, in my top 5 favorite foundations, this is the most full coverage foundation I've ever tried in my entire life. It is literally full coverage on crack. This foundation I only ever recommend to people that literally essentially want to wear a mask, because it is hella full coverage, and it is the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Foundation. This is crazy full coverage, and it is very, very matte. So if you do not like very, very matte foundations, and if you do not like crazy full coverage, do not even waste your time considering to buy this one, because it is literally like on another level of those things. I personally really like wearing this foundation when I'm doing really intense eye makeup, so like something like what I've got on today. I just feel like when you can blank out your face as a total canvas and then go like real ham with your contour, your highlight, and your eyes, it's just beautiful for super dramatic makeup. I feel like most of Huda's products are very much catered to dramatic makeup, so I think it makes sense that her foundation is like full coverage on crack or on steroids. I say that all the time, on crack. It's just, that's my explanation for something being like insanely something. I don't even know if it makes sense. I'm sure you guys get what I mean. You guys are smart. But it's really full coverage, and I find when I wear this, it doesn't break up, it lasts all day, it doesn't go oily, but it is like very heavy. So I personally don't mind a heavy foundation. Like I said, if I'm doing really dramatic makeup, I'm like, layer it on my face, 100 layers of makeup challenge, go for your life, literally cake it on. And yeah, I know a lot of you guys like really full coverage and out there makeup too. So if you guys haven't tried it, but you like hella full coverage and like really full on makeup, definitely do. This literally like blanks out any single discoloration, any single bit of discoloration on your face. So when I put it on, like, I get a fair bit of redness here, which peeks through a lot in a lot of foundations, and I get a little bit down here too. When I put this on, like, redness, what? Like, it's like it never existed. You literally will not see it. It's like it never, what redness? Don't have any. So yeah. I also forgot to say I wear 220N Custard in the Huda Beauty foundation. And the Huda Beauty foundation is actually a plastic bottle. So this is another one really great for travel. The lid is plastic, the bottle is, it looks really bougie, but yeah, it's actually plastic. I really like the Huda Beauty foundation packaging actually. It's probably, I think it's actually my favorite out of all of them. This packaging I think is the most it looks the fanciest whilst being the most practical. So although it's not glass, it still gives you that illusion of that really expensive packaging. I feel like I just had spit stringies that whole entire video. Did I? Who knows? Guess we'll find out. So I hope you guys enjoyed hearing about my top 5 favorite foundations. There's some goodies in here. There's some goodies. So if you guys like medium to full coverage foundations and you haven't tried any of these, I highly recommend all of them. That's why they're my top 5s. They're my absolute favorites. I cannot get enough of them. I'd love to know in the comment section too, what are your favorite foundations? What sort of coverage do you like? Are you more of a natural or a matte or a dewy or full coverage or a light coverage or a BB cream, a CC cream? Like, I'd love to know because I always like seeing, you know, what you guys think of different products, and I love hearing your reviews. If there is a foundation that you think I need to try, definitely comment it and I will. I know so many of you guys are like, Estee Lauder Double Wear, and I have it, I still haven't used it yet, and whenever I say that, people are like, what? You've never tried Estee Lauder Double Wear? Being like a full coverage girl, people are like, that's crazy. It's like the #1 most iconic, you know, full coverage foundation on planet Earth, and yeah, I haven't tried it. It's on my bucket list. I feel like I should do a review on it because I did a review on the MAC, here it is, on the MAC Studio Fix Fluid, and it actually got really great views, and a lot of people were saying they appreciated seeing an updated review on an old foundation, so I might just do that with the Estee Lauder one. This used to be in my top 5 as well, guys, but Cover FX booted it out. This is probably number 6. I still really love this, but Cover FX. Sorry, MAC, bye. Still love you. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. Don't forget to leave me the comments about your favorite foundation. And if you're a new face, thanks so much for clicking on my video. You should definitely subscribe before you leave. And I will be talking to you all really... I just lost my train of thought and then lost my words. Rewind, let me try that again. Thank you so very much for watching, and I'll be talking to you all really soon. Bye.